Hey, this is Basketball Talk 77, and today's video is about why the Miami Heat are the next NBA dynasty. Now, it's been a while since I've posted, but it's been difficult because we just finished with our time in the playoff predictions, and now we need to make our videos, or I need to make my videos a completely different way because we're no longer doing the same thing as we were before. But this is a good thing because it allows us to do new things, like this video, which we really haven't done a lot of things like this lately. So, let's just jump right into it with a recap of the last season for the Heat. So, in the previous season, 2019-20 season, the Miami Heat made it extremely far in the playoffs. First, they were able to defeat the Pacers using their superior scoring and young shooters. And then they were able to get past the Bucks in a crazy upset, beating them in 5 games. And they were the perfectly built team to beat the Bucks, with great three-point shooting and defenders at positions that the Bucks had good players on. With Bam Adebayo being one of the only people in the league, besides maybe Anthony Davis or Joel Embiid, that's able to at least partly contain Giannis. So, with these factors, and the fact that the Bucks really had no clutch scorer, and the Heat did in Jimmy Butler, the Heat were able to triumph over the Bucks, and then in the conference finals, owing partly and in a big part to Bam Adebayo, they were able to defeat the Celtics and move on to the finals as a 5th seed, which really hasn't happened a lot. In fact, I think the last time that happened was in 1995. So, that means that they were up in the finals against the LA Lakers. However, injuries to some of their best players stopped them, including an injury to Bam Adebayo in Game 1, along with Goran Dragic, and I think a minor injury to Jimmy Butler. Now, this messed them up in more ways than just on the surface. Because think about it. The Heat only lost the Game 2 by 10 points, and this was missing Bam Adebayo and Goran Dragic. So, and they apparently went on runs that just stopped short because they just simply couldn't get past being down 10. Perhaps if they had at least Bam Adebayo and if maybe Bam Adebayo and Goran Dragic, they could have won this game too. So, if this happened, instead of the Game 6 clincher for the Lakers, it would have been for them to tie the series, and we could have gone into a Game 7 with a possibility of Goran Dragic being back and Jimmy Butler being able to go Super Saiyan again. So there's really a lot of possibility when we see there. However, injuries happen, and we can't act like they're unfair because that's just what happens in the NBA. But they made it far farther than anybody thought possible. And this is part of the reason that I think they are the next NBA dynasty. They look primed. But next we have to talk about their good players. And thinking back, they're a very well-built team. First off, at the core, you have Jimmy Butler, their clutch scorer and a small forward slasher that plays good defense and is a leader for the team. He was able to carry the Heat in the finals with amazing performances in Game 3 and Game 5 and was the thing that pushed the Heat over the edge in almost every series, especially the Bucks series, in my opinion. So, he is the centerpiece, and he's 30 years old, which means he still has several years left in his prime. Then there's Bam Adebayo, their power forward / center that is one of the most elite rim protectors in the league, and also is a great inside scorer. He has to work on his offense and especially his outside shot, but at the moment, his defense is amazing when it comes to rim protection, rivaling Anthony Davis, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Rudy Gobert, which means that if he can develop his offense, he will become one of the candidates for MVP, considering how young he is, only being drafted in 2017. So there's a lot of potential there. And I see him as the future, not Tyler Hero, not Kendrick Nunn. I see Bam Adebayo as the future centerpiece for the Heat, even after Jimmy Butler leaves or retires. Then you have Goran Dragic, who is a crafty player and a pretty elite scorer, who is older than all the other players, but still, I think his game will work out for many years. Then you have Tyler Hero, one of our most promising young players, someone who showed that he can be amazing in his 37-point performance in the conference finals to give the Heat that victory in, I believe it was Game 4. So he has lots of potential. I think he's a touch overhyped because of the bubble, but he's still very good, and he has a lot of potential to get better. Continuing, you have players like Duncan Robinson and Kendrick Nunn. And Kendrick Nunn, people forget about him, but he is amazing. And just because Tyler Hero had such an amazing performance doesn't mean that Kendrick Nunn isn't the best rookie on the Miami Heat, because throughout the season he was. So those are the good players. You have good shooters like Tyler Hero, Kendrick Nunn, Jay Crowder, and you have good people inside like Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, and that can shift a great slash and kick game with the plenty of good defenders on the Heat to create a very potent and powerful team. Now, there's one problem with this team. But before I get there, we have to mention just how much potential this team has. Tyler Hero is a rookie. Duncan Robinson is extremely young. Kendrick Nunn is extremely young. Bam Adebayo is only in his third season, going into his fourth. He's still on a rookie contract. Of course, I think they're going to have to give him a bigger contract. But right now, they've got lots of good players that we could see becoming real. I mean, I could see Bam Adebayo being an MVP candidate, and I mean, Kendrick Nunn and Tyler Hero could have the potential to be all-stars. So the Heat have a bright future, and they're good in the present, which makes them, like the Nuggets, a team that's good now and in the future. Although I think Jimmy Butler's clutch scoring, although his normal scoring might go away as time goes on, I think his clutch scoring will stay until the end of his career. And that's what they're going to need him for. But then there's one problem with the Heat, and that is they don't have a pure scorer. They don't have a volume scorer, rather. Someone who can constantly just put the ball in the hoop. They have players that can score, but it's not their main thing, and they don't do it in excess. Their highest scorer is like 19 points, 20 points? Really not an extremely high average for their top leading scorer, and pretty low among other contenders. So I think that's the big weakness of the Heat. They're really good at everything else, but that one part of their game, that's the thing that's going to hold them back if they don't improve it. But that brings us to free agency, and especially the 2020-2021 season, where they have a lot of options. And they could be searching for that next great player, that next volume scorer that might be able to push them over the hump and make them a perfect dynastic team. So, of course, everybody's looking at Giannis Antetokounmpo. And dual MVP, might even go for a third MVP in 2020-2021. He might leave in 2021 and look to get a max contract. And if you look at the salary table for Miami Heat, they have enough cap space at the moment to take on a max contract for the next 4 or 5 years. And that could be Giannis Antetokounmpo, and they should definitely look into that. However, in my opinion, Giannis is the wrong person. That should be of course they're going to look for him, but Giannis shouldn't be the guy that they look for as their best option, their best fit. because, in my opinion, their best fit is Bradley Beal. He had an amazing season last year and was robbed of the All-Star team for D'Angelo Russell. He was, behind James Harden, the leading scorer, averaging 30.5 points, 4.1 rebounds, and 6.2 assists on 45.5% shooting from the field, and 35.5% shooting from three. But he is on a team that was only the 10th seed in 2019-2020, but John Wall is going to be coming back. However, if that doesn't work out, and they decide that they can't contend with the team they have, they might decide it's time to go into full rebuild and give up Bradley Beal. And he's going to be up. He's going to be a free agent in 2020-2021, like many, many other stars. Probably the best free agency class we've ever had. I'm going to say ever in the entire NBA, in all of its history, the best free agency class we've ever had in the era of people moving in free agency. And so I think that they should look for Bradley Beal. One, because he is an even better volume scorer than Giannis Antetokounmpo. He averaged more points than Giannis Antetokounmpo. And they're not looking for rebounds. Number two, adding Giannis might be a bad fit. Let's think that he plays power forward, so does Bam Adebayo. Not only would they have to move Bam Adebayo to the center position, it would add Jimmy Butler can't shoot threes, Bam Adebayo can't shoot threes, and Giannis Antetokounmpo can't shoot threes, which would leave a lot of non-shooters on the court, and I think it would definitely hurt Giannis to not have enough good shooters around him, and it would hurt Bam's development too. We also think, how's Bam going to feel about him having to be moved down a position? What is that going to tell him about the front office of the Heat? It's going to tell him that he's not their number one guy. And although that might be true, even if he might not be as good as Giannis Antetokounmpo, that's not what you want to be telling a guy that could spend like 15 plus years with you in the future and become a possible MVP candidate / finals MVP for you. You don't want to be telling him early in his career that you're going to sideline his development and push him to a position he usually doesn't play for someone else, even if they should. So I think Giannis might even cause locker room issues. I think he would be a bad fit and would cause spacing issues too. But that's when you go into Bradley Beal. Not only a superior volume scorer at the moment to Giannis Antetokounmpo, but also a great player when it comes to his position for the Heat, a great fit. He's shooting guard, and they really don't have an amazing player at shooting guard, which means he could be added to the team without messing with any player, without pushing anybody down that much, and causing fit issues or locker room issues. And his defense might even be rejuvenated, but even if it isn't, all the other defense on that team will make up for that fact. And then his defense might even be rejuvenated, and he'll fit right in. He will solve that problem as the pure scorer that the Miami Heat need. And adding him will make them almost a perfect team. Such a well-built team that we haven't seen such since the 80s, before overexpansion caused a lack of money for people to make good rosters. This will be the most complete team we've had in years, and it will be a great contender. Adding Bradley Beal, who is in the same age range as everybody else, will cause a future for the Miami Heat in a few years that could leave them as a dynasty, and the next dynasty in the NBA. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then give it a like, and subscribe and turn on notifications for more videos like this. I hope to be posting soon, and put in the comments what team you want to hear about next in a video like this, what their future is, their free agency, and I might even add in trades next time I do one of these videos, because that's definitely a possibility. This really didn't have any specific trades, but next time I do a video like this, I might add some of those in. So you'll get to see it if you subscribe and turn on notifications. And just thank you for watching. I enjoyed making this video, and I hope you enjoy watching it. Like, subscribe, and see you next time.